the revolutionary ankle lock system, an integrated brace built into the boots, delivering unrivaled support, protecting ligaments from twists, tears, and trauma.
Regan Slaymaker for Boxing Social and Associated Empire Fight Store and R Kings. I have the pleasure to be joined by, esteemed trainer Jamie Moore. Jamie, you are Jamie. Don't give yourself some credit here, mate. Well, in Belfast for a massive fight week, but also Pat Brown on the card as well. Buzzing for Pat. And some great performances of late as well.
Yeah, 3-0, 3 knockouts, and not really put a foot wrong. In with some, decent company for his first 3 fights. And again, we've matched him with a guy who's really going to come, and he's tough, durable, can punch. So the aim of the game is to get rounds under his belt. So fingers crossed we get that.
Definitely as well. With Pat as well, like you mentioned, he's had some tough matchmaking. The Lewis Oakford fight I was really excited for, and Pat done really, really well in that fight. Yeah. But where he's obviously older than the average prospect, is it important we got to match him quickly but match him right as well? It's getting that happy medium.
Yeah, it's an art in itself. Tom Dallas, who we're on the phone with Matchroom, with Sam Jones, just trying to make sure we get it right, and hopefully we are getting it right. The guys who he's been in with, you wouldn't have expected your average prospect to be in with that type of level straight away, but he's dealt with him with no problem. And again, like I say, this guy should give him rounds. If he doesn't, then it's a good problem to have, but then we're going to be looking at it going, well, who do you match him with? But he's 26, so ideally we get a good 6, maybe even 8 rounds, goes the distance, and he gets some experience under his belt, because I don't think it'll be long before he's fighting for titles. Certainly within the next 12 months, and once he's into 12 rounders, then I think it'll be moved quickly. Once he gets a bit of that experience under his belt, and once we know where we're at, which I do anyway, but it's just not the fact that he can't do it. It's making sure that he understands what it feels like under lights, big crowd, and then once he's there, we'll just let him off the leash.
Definitely. Not headlining, but a part of a massive fight card. It'll be all good for his development as well. Keeping chronologically, Dave Allen, I'm pretty sure is next out. Arslan Bakhmatmedov. A fight that I don't know if people involved in the teams like hearing this, but what a fight we've got with Dave Allen. He's not scared of anyone, is he, Dave? It's fair to say.
He is a little bit scared of Makhmedov.
That's good,
and that's why we picked him, or that's why he picked him. In all honesty, this was Dave's first choice, and I was like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah, he scares me to fucking death, and that's why I want to fight him." He said, "Because I know I'm going to turn up every Monday to the gym knowing that I'm going to put the graft in that week, because I know I'm going to have to be able to beat him." So I said, well, good, fair play. And in all honesty, I've just been talking to anyone who mentions Dave to me. I'm like a proud dad, even though I'm not old enough to be his dad, because the way he's turned his career around has been testament to his own mindset, his dedication to his family, because you don't do what Dave's done at the stages of his career he was at without doing it for somebody else. In terms of, he could have done this at any point in time if he was only doing it for himself, but he's doing this for his family, and you always commit to it more, in my opinion, from my experience, when it's the bigger picture. It's not just about you, it's about your family, it's about supporting them and supplying for them for the future. And I can't fault him. In fact, he's exceeded my expectations, and the type of form he's in at the moment, even though I knew he was a very good fighter and he had a picture in my head where he could get to, he's surpassed that. So I'm proud of him, and I really believe we've got a special performance coming from Dave.
Definitely as well. You kind of just touched on it there. It feels like we need to see the best Dave Allen for him to beat Arslan Bakhmatmedov, but it feels like that we're seeing the best Dave Allen as well, from what you're saying there.
Yeah, he's coming into his prime. Heavyweights always mature a little bit later. I think the gap in between, where he sort of walked away for a couple of years, and he didn't walk away completely, but he kept his foot in the door a little bit, had a couple of little 4-rounders. But in hindsight now, that has probably put him in a position to make sure he's able to perform like he is now. And I'm not trying to sound like a martyr, but like the Fraser Clark fight, I knew he wasn't fit to go 12 rounds. He took it at relatively short notice, so it was like 5.5 weeks notice with zero training leading up to it. So he's starting absolute from scratch. So we could never get him fit for 12 rounds. He was probably 6-round fit. And Fraser Clark's a good fighter. And he got to the point where he virtually had no chance of winning the fight, so I pulled him out. And I'm so glad I did, because those last 4 rounds, when you're tired and you're not fit, can be very, very damaging and career-ending type of sort of stuff. And we saved him for another day, and thank God we did, because he's got another day now and he's fresh enough to do it. And I truly believe that was because of stuff like that, where you don't just leave him in there for the sake of his pride not being stopped and stuff like that. And he did protest with me. He was like, I don't want you to pull me out. And I said, I don't fucking care. You're being pulled out. And I went with him. We got checked out at the hospital. I explained to him why. I said, because that could have been career ending, and I don't think that's the end of you. But if you commit yourself to it, I really believe you can do something. And he went away, thought about it, got offered the Johnny Fisher fight 12 months, 18 months later, whatever it was, and he's turned his career around. And I believe he was in that position because of that.
Definitely. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I am reading The Knockout by Andy Clark at the moment, and you're heavily in that, by the way, and great anecdotes in there. Is that experience, because some corners sometimes they're not brave enough pulling their fighters off. Are you doing that from experience, being a fighter yourself?
Absolutely.
The fights you are in, you're doing that from experience.
Absolutely, from my own experiences, from conversations I had with Oliver, from doing research about the impacts of trauma, prolonged trauma, concussion, and I understand fight fans want to see good fights, and I love it when my fighters are in good, exciting fights, because I was proud to be involved in them type of fights myself. What I won't allow is when I believe I know my fighters inside out. That's why I feel like I get the best out of them, because I know them inside out. And when they're involved in a fight where they're taking punishment, and I can feel, or I can see they're in a position where they've got nothing more to give, I'm not going to leave them in there just to take punishment, to allow them pride to say, I didn't get pulled out, or I'd rather go out on my shield, I'd rather get knocked out. If they've got it in them where they want to be in there, I will leave them in there, no problem. And I've done that in the past. Tommy Coyle, for instance, I've no issue with him doing it when the grit and determination and the conditioning's there. But when the fighter's in a position where it wasn't exactly the same situation as Dave with Fraser Clark, but Akib Fiaz, I pulled him out against Bellotti because I knew I could see what was coming, and he's a young fighter who's got a lot of potential. And if you get knocked out rather than pulled out or stopped the way we stopped it, then you live to fight another day. And if you don't, and your coach is brave and he lets you go out on your shield and you end up getting knocked out, that can potentially ruin you for the rest of your career. I'm not saying finish you physically, but mentally, the scars, what it leaves, sometimes you never get over. And I honestly believe that I've saved him for another day. So you can only get that from experiencing it, seeing experiences, walking that path yourself, understanding, the science behind it, and I've tried to do that because this is the best sport in the world. It's the most brutal sport in the world, but it's also a very dangerous sport. And if we make it less dangerous, we make it less exciting. But we need coaches to take responsibility to protect the fighters and know when they've had enough, know when enough is enough, and you help them live to fight another day. And God willing, we leave them in there and let them go out on the shield when they're in a position to do so.
Definitely, and when they've got the punch power to get themselves out of trouble and things like that as well. I mean, definitely, I couldn't agree more with that. I do want to talk about Jack Catterall as well. I think it was a surprise to a lot of people that he left the gym. Obviously, kind words to you and Nigel. I don't want to get into any of the details. That's not what I'm here to do. But some great nights with Jack, and you took him. I mean, I know he didn't get the win that night, but everyone knows what happened against Josh Taylor. But some really good nights with Jack Catterall.
Of course. We had a great run. We had 9 years together. He's a lovely kid, and yeah, I mean, fighters move on. I wish him absolutely nothing but the best. I rang him and I said, Jack, honestly, here's what it is. We spoke before it, but but as soon as the statement got released, I rang him up and I said, listen, genuinely, I wish you all the best. His missus is due a baby, and I said, foot boxing, that's the most important thing. Hope the Lauren and the baby's okay, and I wish you all the best in the future.
Definitely as well. I do want to move on to Conor Walker at the moment. I mean, one of the newest additions to the stable, but my God, what an exciting fighter! And I was just saying to his manager Sam Jones, whatever's next is going to be something absolutely massive as well. Just talk to me about Conor's rise and also having him in the gym for that fight against Liam Taylor as well.
Yeah. Great kid. Love his style. I always sort of admired him from afar. So when Sam sort of mentioned it to me that he was looking to come to the gym, then I was obviously flattered. But stylistically, he's right on my street, and great addition. Gets on with everyone in the gym. Very underestimated in my opinion. His skill set's a lot better than people give him credit for. He is very tough, very game. Wears his heart on his sleeve. He's very strong, very strong for a welterweight, and can punch more than his record says. So yeah, I mean, there's a few fights being banned about for him, but whatever comes up for Conor, I've got massive confidence in him, because I feel like I've trained so many different styles in a short career as a coach. But that style is right up my street. That sort of hands high, solid, sort of airtight defence on the front foot, body puncher, physically strong, high tempo. That's sort of right on my street. So I feel like I know that style best, and I feel I can get the best out of him.
Definitely, in the way, in the nicest, greatest respect to Liam Taylor in his last fight, that's what kind of got him through, his toughness, but also the power to finish him off the way he did was unbelievable as well. I was going to say, Jamie, I cannot have a fighter as established as yourself, but a trainer as established as yourself, and not bring up the mega fight that's happening on Saturday night, Canelo and Crawford. I mean, forgive me if you've been asked about this fight 100 times, but I mean, how are you seeing this mega fight on Saturday?
Do you know, fights at this sort of level, there's very few margins, and generally the old saying, a good big un always beats a good little un. For me, it's all about timing. We all know how great a fighter Canelo is, and the fighters he's beaten over the years. But for me, just purely the size difference is the big key element for me. Crawford's a phenomenal fighter, very elusive, but Canelo's so good at closing the distance, hunting you down, throwing you those feints and sort of dropping his shoulders, coming over the top instead. I've got a feeling Crawford might choose to fight southpaw a lot in this fight, because we've seen southpaws cause Canelo a lot of problems over the years. So maybe I've got a feeling he might choose to box out that stance quite a bit. Generally, the only other people who've given problems is size, and Crawford hasn't got that. So it's going to be a great fight. I think it'll go points. I think they'll be very cautious early on, but I just feel like Canelo's size by the midway point will take over. I feel like he'll be really all over Crawford by the time we get to sort of round 10, but he'll see it out, and I think he'll win on points.
Definitely, it's a mega fight. Jamie, I mean, it's a pleasure talking to you. I'll leave you with the final words. Any final words for, fans waiting to see Pat Brown in the corner and looking forward to seeing him in corners to come, mate?
Mate, the only thing I'll say is Pat Brown is don't blink. He's a phenomenal fighter. He's much cuter than people will give him credit for, and depending on the opponent, they'll give him a chance to show that. But it's going to be a great ride. He's such an exciting fighter.
Definitely, don't blink indeed. Jamie Moore, thank you very much again
Top
for your
man.
time, mate.
Thank
Cheers.
You.
the revolutionary ankle lock system, an integrated brace built into the boots, delivering unrivaled support, protecting ligaments from twists, tears, and trauma.